a really, really, really good night for the Utah Jazz last night. They steamrolled the Portland Trailblazers, who suck right now. Like, they're not good. The Jazz were up, I think, by 47 going to the third quarter, one of the largest third quarter leads in the history of the NBA. You had guys in this league that were, knowing the gambling guys, I should say, in this league, knew this was going to be a blowout. It was the largest point spread in the last 2 years in the NBA at 19.5, and the Jazz covered. It's exactly what this team needed, Jake. A laugher, I think, really does them well.
Yeah, and it's nice to see that Jared Butler finally got some minutes. It's nice to see that Quinn came to his senses and started playing, everybody on the bench when you're blowing a team out, and I think that, I think that you're just trying to finish the schedule at this point. You're trying not to give up the 4 seed. You're trying to be in the best position possible, playing your best basketball heading into the postseason. And I think for the Jazz, we're at a point with this team where, the playoffs just need to get here. We just need to get into that first series and see what they can do. I watching a lot of games last night, the Suns absolutely manhandled the Heat, so I think the Suns are basically playing the best basketball that they've played all year. I mean, that game really was not that close, and the Heat are the number 1 seed right now. So I think the Suns are legit, and I think if you're the Jazz looking around the Western Conference, seeing who, you're going to have to play and contend with and everything, I think we could all agree that, not going to the NBA Finals this year, but I think it is important to finish this year strong. It is important to win a series and get to the second round, and even if you lose in 7, I think that's better than not going at all. So that's just kind of where I think it is. Yeah, is it fun to have a laugher? Absolutely. This game from the before they even stepped into the arena was over. This was a game that everybody was like, yeah, they're going to beat the hell out of this team and we'll go to the next night. And that's exactly what they did. And I think that it was nice to see Butler and Pascal and some minutes out of Rudy Gay, even though he didn't really play too well last night. Like, it's good to see the bench getting involved. So I thought, pretty straightforward. It's nice not to get on the show today and have to talk about, flagrants or technicals or arguing with officials or all that good stuff, because I feel like that's what we end up talking about. It's nice to just say, hey, they had a laugher. They beat the hell out of the Blazers, and we're on to the next game. It's nice to say that.
But this Rudy Gay conversation seems to be one that's not going away. I mean, when you look at, truly you look at Rudy Gay's performance for this team, I don't know, it feels strong to say that Rudy Gay is a bust, or I think he hasn't lived up to what the hype was. But I think we don't know the answer to that question yet. And one of the things that I think is really important to understand about Rudy Gay is you won't know his highest, best value to this ball club until the postseason gets here.
Right.
Because that's what he's here for. And I would agree the injuries have been significant and they've diminished his ability to contribute. I think he has not played nearly as well or in as many situations as most of us thought that he would. But I would slow your roll as Jazz fans on just crushing Rudy Gay at this point. And Jake, I think we haven't seen his best minutes as a Utah Jazz man yet.
Yeah, and I think this time of year serves for many different players to get them ramped up. We've heard about Rudy Gay, about Mike Conley, that, they're trying to ramp these guys' minutes up. And I think, the challenge for Rudy Gay has been that he's had some injuries to deal with, and so he hasn't been able to be a consistent tool off the bench and get his, 15, 17 minutes a night. He hasn't been in that flow. And so I think what you're seeing partially right now is he's getting back into his groove, but I have to say, I do agree with the idea that, he hasn't lived up to it, and whether that's because of injury or otherwise, the truth is the truth, right? I mean, it doesn't really matter why you haven't lived up to it. You haven't lived up to it. So I think that he has some proving to do. I think in a perfect world, he is, somebody you can come off the bench, get, on a great night, you're getting 4 threes a game from him probably.
Yeah,
and you're getting some decent defense, on an average night, you're getting 1 3. Maybe a turnover, and he's just kind of eating minutes for you. So it really, unfortunately, like the case is that it just depends on the matchup, and that's what I think so often happens with the bench mob, if you will, the bench roster. Quinn only wants to play these guys when the matchup is advantageous to them. And unfortunately, in the NBA, I mean, you just can't burn your starters out. You can't. And that's why I was so happy to see that the starters didn't play a ton of minutes last night. They didn't, nobody was really over 30 minutes. And I thought that was really smart. But, as far as Rudy Gay is concerned, I just hope that as the season winds down here, you get into the postseason. I hope at a minimum his 3-point shot is dialed in and reliable for him. Because if that's the case, he can at least come off the bench and contribute a little bit.
See, but I don't think the three's been the issue. I maintain that this team's biggest weakness is still the pick and roll switch on defense and their ability to defend smaller lineups. I mean, again, I go back to the last road trip with what you saw, the fight for their life in Houston, the loss in New Orleans, the loss in Dallas. I think you see that there is a blueprint to beat this team, and that very clearly is play small basketball,
right?
Move Rudy Gobert out of the paint, and then go have your way at the rim. And that's the thing that Rudy Gay was supposed to fix. He was supposed to be able to be that small ball 4-5 combo guy, and you were supposed to have this combination of Rudy Gobert, Hassan Whiteside, and I don't know, and Rudy Gay, but that has not come to fruition. That has not materialized, and the thing that worries you is you're at a point now where you would think that it would have. So all that matters, the only question this team has to answer the last 4 weeks of the season: can you figure out how to play small ball lineups and defend the pick and roll?
Yeah.
Because Quinn Snyder and the Utah Jazz have not adjusted at all when other teams go to this pick and roll. And when other teams play small, I mean, I think the Houston game is really interesting. You wound up winning that game, but you saw, even with Rudy in the game against a guy that is considered their center in Christian Wood, you saw their ability to run, the pick and roll with Kevin Porter Jr. and switch Christian Wood, who wound up getting a wide open three to tie the game.
Yeah.
And that manifested itself repeatedly. The inability to defend the mid-range game in the paint on switches against New Orleans absolutely propelled them.
Yeah.
And then I think you saw Luka Doncic do whatever the hell he wanted to do in the mid-range, and I think you saw them run pick and roll with just about everybody.
Well, and I think the decision to switch everything too has to be addressed. I mean, the Luka game is really where that was on full display. I mean, you have a situation where you have any variety of guards guarding Luka, and the Mavericks just run a simple pick, not even pick and roll, just a simple, hey, come up and set a screen, and let's make the Jazz switch. And that's going to be really interesting to see how they kind of go about that. Because again, let's say in the first round, you get the Mavericks, let's say as an example. Are you going to continue just to switch everything and ask Rudy Gobert to play perimeter defense against Luka? I mean, I don't think that's the best way to go about it. I mean, at a minimum, I think in that scenario, you got to at least force Luka into the paint. At a minimum. I mean, you can't have this guy just switching and then getting one-on-one with Rudy at the 3-point line and just hitting step back after step back. That's just not going to work, and I think that along with how they handle pick and roll and how they handle, Rudy coming out of the paint and all those little things add up, and I think that you got to be on the same page heading into the postseason.
Yeah, we'll see if they get there. I think they my guess is the Jazz wind up in that 4th spot. They have home court advantage against the Mavericks, and I think that's going to be a tough series, but I ultimately think the Jazz can win that series.
Yeah.
And, as we look around the rest of the NBA, as we come into some real important games now, we're pretty much at the midpoint of March, and, you begin to understand that, every game that we're looking at on the schedule here, like this Brooklyn Philly game tonight.
Yeah.
This is a huge basketball game, and for a lot of reasons, obviously the emotion that goes into it. But these are two of the top teams in the East, and Brooklyn's trying to find their way back to the top of the standings. I think everybody believes that Brooklyn is a championship contender, or so we think. I mean, you look at what Kyrie did the other night. I mean, I don't know how you drop 51 playing every other game, or a game every 2 weeks, essentially, is what it's been on average. I don't know how he does that.
Gifted.
without Ben Simmons.
Yeah, he's gifted. He just is.
It's remarkable what that team does, Brooklyn, when they're good. And this is without, again, a guy like a Joe Harris, who's out for the rest of the year now with ankle surgery. And I mean, you have some real issues on that ball club.
Yep.
Yet here you are, still believed to be one of the best teams in the NBA. And it would not surprise me if they wound up in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what happens when you have fearsome talent on your roster. I mean, again, you made the best point there that Kyrie just throws up 50-point games like it's nothing. Like it's, oh yeah, I'm Kyrie Irving. Here we go, 50 points, no problem. And he honestly, 50 points on 19 shots is a little ridiculous. I mean, that level of efficiency, granted, he's not doing that every night, but the fact that he has the ability once in a while to give you 50 points on 19 attempts is a little
Excuse
crazy.
me. It's a 50-piece nugget.
Right, a 50-piece nugget, right.
Yeah, next question.
Yeah, I know. So, I just think that, I think you have to respect Brooklyn, because of Durant and Kyrie and honestly, like, yes, Ben Simmons, but we got to see what he is as a player. I mean, again, it's no secret to anybody that you're running out of time here. You have got to get back on the basketball
court. You have
court,
1 month left in the season, 2 days. The season ends 1 month from today on April 10th.
And what are you playing? Probably, 4 games a week? Probably?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you have game minutes left to get back into the groove if you're Ben Simmons. But my biggest concern for the Nets, and ultimately what I think lets them down, is that even when Ben Simmons comes back, the chemistry of the team is still going to be really interesting because here's how it works for the Nets. Kyrie and KD have chemistry. They could be out a month. You put them right back on the floor. We're good to go. But I think what's going to be really curious is when Ben Simmons is playing point guard for them, because I do believe that he's going to play a lot of point guard for them, and then you're going to run a lot of sets with Kyrie and KD on the wings. When that happens, how does that work? I mean, where does Ben Simmons fit in? He's going to, his role is going to be predominantly defense. He's going to bring the ball up. But then what does Steve Nash do with him? That's what I think they need time to figure out.
Well, and you've got 17 games to do that. And you play every other game. Like if you're the Jazz play every other day until it's like a Saturday, Tuesday, April 2nd to April 5th. When you're on the road at Golden State, home for Memphis. So you're out of time.
Yeah.
I agree with you, a hundo P there, bruh.
A hundo P, bruh.
That you're just out of time. I mean, there's no more waiting. But that's the problem with the Lakers. You look at the Lakers right now and you ask yourself, is this a playoff team?
Is it too strong to say the Lakers are an embarrassment?
No, the Lakers are absolutely embarrassing. They are absolutely embarrassing. I was talking to one of my guys that I know at ESPN, and there is conversations about just not covering them right now because they're so bad. But then the flip side of that is, well, they're the Lakers and they're this bad. How do you not talk about that?
Yeah, you have to.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
But it's at the point at ESPN who drones about Aaron Rodgers every day.
Every day.
Like the Lakers are a huge talking point.
Yeah, I've been immunized.
I mean, I don't know what you say about the LA Lakers because I think there is a real chance here that they're gonna miss the play-in tournament.
Who are a couple of teams behind them?
They're in 9th in the West in the play-in tournament.
Right.
9 and 10 are in. 11's out. Portland, who is tragically bad, is the only reason that the Lakers will get into the postseason.
Yeah, Portland's not even trying to win a game right now.
And I'm being serious. I'm not even being a jerk. I don't know that Portland can win another game the entire year.
Yeah.
For
their purposes, they don't want to.
That is easily the worst team I've seen all season long.
Yeah.
I think the Houston Rockets are far, far, far better.
I will say, I really do like Anthony Simmons, though, for Portland. Love that kid.
Yeah, I mean, I like a lot of what they have, but they're fucking terrible right now. Like, it is not even – that's
brutal.
an unwatchable basketball team.
Okay, so Portland.
Portland is in the 11th spot at 27.5 back.
So, wait, the Lakers are at 9. Who's at 10?
New Orleans.
New Orleans is at 10.
27 wins. The Lakers are at 28. The New Orleans Pelicans are simply a game behind the Lakers in the loss column.
I just think that, if you try to put yourself in LeBron's shoes, are you not just trying to get out of this season healthy and get into the offseason?
I think it would. If you're LeBron James, it might not be the worst thing in the world to not make the playoffs. They're gonna keep the 10. I think there's a chance the Pelicans catch them because, as I said last week, and everybody railed me for it, I'm telling you, the Pelicans are a much better team than their record.
He's just a hack.
Now that they've made these deals, I'm telling you that the Pelicans are a far better team than their record.
I think CJ McCollum and his impact was unexpected by the masses. Like, I don't think people realize how good CJ is, and that's because he's played in Portland his whole career before New Orleans. And,
Yes.
and I think that he is. It's good to see. Like, it's unfortunate to see, Dame and CJ come to an end. I think everybody loved that pairing and what that could have been, but it never panned out. And I think, I hope for CJ that he starts to get the credit he deserves, but more importantly, I hope that Dame eventually leaves, man. I really do hope that for him, because I just don't see the Blazers doing what it takes to win in today's, NBA, culture, if you will. So,
yeah, I don't know. I think one of the things that's truly fascinating to watch is the end of LeBron's career, because I know that he had talent there, but how is LeBron just not able to carry this team anymore? Like, he just can't will them to wins. And, it was interesting to hear Jalen Green being a youthful fool, talking about how they were just attacking Carmelo Anthony.
Yep.
Now, he shouldn't have said that. It's very poor form to rip the Lakers when you're
Portland, or when you're Rockets.
Arguably the worst team in the NBA.
Yeah.
But it's an interesting point. Their biggest issue is Russell Westbrook. I don't think there's any doubt about that. They have bigger issues, though. Like, their defense, I don't understand how they're so bad defensively.
Yeah.
You can't tell me this is coaching. This is just zero execution on the floor.
Yeah, it is at some point. I've always agreed with the statement that at some point it comes down to the players doing their damn job. Like, at some point it comes down to Russell Westbrook deciding, okay, this is enough is enough. We got to be better. We have to play better defense. We have to, I have to improve my jump shooting. It comes down to players.
And listen, I understand that they're a far superior team with a far superior roster. But I look at the Phoenix Suns, who have young, inexperienced players, and they're elite defensively.
But I don't think, is it fair to say that they're inexperienced anymore? Because now they've all been to the finals.
I look at the way they won last night, and I watched a good part of that Suns game last night. I look at guys like Wainwright, Craig, Bismack Biyombo, gave them 3, and I know it sounds crazy, but he gives them 3 minutes where he gets a really, really smart rebound. And I'm like, damn, and most rebounds just fall in but you look at those little situations.
It's the details.
I look at the way that Landry Shamet is defending right now. Landry Shamet's never played in a big game in his life. Like, that's not a guy you're like as a championship He's not. Not until he is now.
Yeah, I think the only playoff experience he's really got. I don't know. Wasn't he in Philly at one point and in Brooklyn for a cup of coffee?
He was, but what has he ever really done?
Yeah, he's never really been the guy on any team, and that's not what you would expect. But I think here's the thing with Phoenix. I think that Phoenix has done a really nice job of going from, obviously they've done a nice job of going from a terrible team to a good team. But I think that we could all agree that Phoenix at one time, not now, but at one time was considered a small market at one time. Now it's blown up and the transition has been made.
There's more people in Phoenix than in San Francisco right now.
Yeah, dude. And Phoenix is busy. And I think that my point here is that the Suns have done a great job staying humble and staying really focused on the details and the little things.
Developing players. Like, the Cameron Payne is filling in for Chris Paul.
Yes.
And giving you an 11-10 double-double.
Yes.
That Devin Booker rolls up out of COVID protocols and gives you 23 points, 9 dimes, 8 boards, 4 of 7 from 3.
And he looked good doing it too, by the way.
I'm telling you, the guy that nobody's talking about is Mikal Bridges.
Yep.
Nobody talks about him.
For whatever reason. I don't know why.
They're elite. But my point is, they held Miami, who is 44-23 and the best team in the East.
Yeah.
They held Miami to 90 points.
Yeah, it was a dominating performance.
And I just...
I'm for real.
I don't know how the Lakers are that bad. And
this season has been wild. This season, in the NBA has been crazy. Houston may be one of the worst teams in the league, but damn if they're not fun to watch. They've got a lot of talent and they make a lot of nice plays. I think that, the playoffs are going to be very interesting, especially in the East, because I think Philly obviously expects to go to the NBA Finals this year. But I'm not so sure that that's going to work out. It's going to be interesting. Like James Harden, let's not forget, the last time James Harden was in a position to really make some noise in the postseason, I think it was Game 6 against the Warriors. He went 0 for 27 from 3.
Nobody cares about James Harden. Did anybody see what DeMar, the MVP, DeRozan did last night? I mean, did anybody see the 36.8 rebound, 4 dime performance? Anybody? I mean, just raise your hand real quick. If you're in the car, if you're wherever you're, just put your hand up. I mean, DeMar DeRozan's the MVP. Yeah. All 3 inches of it.
Yeah.
The guy is the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now. You can.
So you like him more than Book?
No, not at all. And I admittedly, I was on camera in a team meeting yesterday when I found out that Devin Booker was coming back to play.
Right. Keyword coming. Right.
Okay. Wow.
What?
You're disgusting.
What?
The point
He's
is
coming back.
The point is.
Yeah.
I was aroused. I mean, I and I had to contain myself because I was in a Zoom meeting. I mean, that's awkward now. The point is, let's keep it real. I mean, this Western Conference is far better than the East.
Yeah.
I still maintain the Milwaukee Bucks are probably the most difficult team to deal with in the East. I think they're a clip better than the Philadelphia 76ers. I don't know what to make of the Heat. Jimmy's injury has changed them.
Kyle Lowry.
I mean, I think, but you can't count on Kyle right now. I mean, if I don't even how many games has he played? I look at their roster, and it's good enough to be good enough.
Yeah.
But will they win?
It's not an NBA Finals roster.
That's the question. Kyle Lowry's only played 50 games. And when he plays, he's really good.
Yeah, but are you going to say the same thing about what's his face for the Heat? Can't remember.
Jimmy?
No. The center. Can't remember his name now.
Bam Adebayo?
Yeah, Bam. Bam's missed some time this year.
Bam's missed a lot of time. He's only played 42 games.
Well, how many did Jimmy play? Has Jimmy played most of the
year? Jimmy has, but now he's got this injury. Jimmy's played 46 games. So, I mean, their stars have missed time, and they're still number 1 in the East.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this all comes down to it. Tonight's a huge moment in time in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, must-watch TV, man.
I mean, Brooklyn and the Sixers is as good as it gets. So,
Facts.
Make sure you hit subscribe. We're giving away a PS5 that's sitting back here but not there, and you get 5-1 if you buy one of our T-shirts.
Yeah, so do it. DM me. It's not hard.
Yeah, somebody was asking about the first shirt. Which shirt is better, the first shirt or the second shirt?
Well,
because the other day somebody was asking about.
So here's the second shirt.
So here's the second shirt, the You're a Casual shirt. We're about halfway through those, and Eric DeVera was like, "Hey man, you said you're going to send me a shirt, bro." Okay, well DM Jake, he'll send you one. But this is the first shirt. And the first shirt's always the GOAT, right? I mean, the first shirt that you do is usually the GOAT, but I'm kind of partial to the You're a Casual shirt. I don't know. Either one.
Put it to a vote in the comments.
Yeah. Either one gets you 5-1 entries.
Yeah.
We have a couple of the first shirt left. We have about half of our stock on the second shirt left, so just DM Jake.
I'm telling you, I don't want to hear
SLC
when we give
Supercars.
away this PlayStation 5. I don't want to hear, "Oh, well, I didn't buy a shirt. How did I not win?" Buy a shirt, dude. I'm telling you.
A paid listener says, "You guys are awesome. Thanks for sharing your points of view with us and never being wrong."
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yes.
Include your mailing
Fucking
address.
America.
Somebody called themselves paid listener.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently.
That's fine. Let's get some of your thoughts in here because then we got to get to the NFL. Rudy Sanchez says, "Morning, fellas. CenturyLink came back to life."
Dude,
for you
I
guys
swear
today.
to God.
Don't.
I swear to God.
Don't, because Rudy, they're going to hear you.
Dude.
They're going to hear you. Edgar Garcia says, "Morning, players." Scott Howard says, "Morning." Q Sam says, "Hello."
Hello.
Dane says, "Oh, shiz, I need to get my OG one."
Yep.
Scott Howard says, Montyism befuddled. How the F you gonna guard Desmond Bain? Giannis Ante, your dumb dad's ass. I like it, Scott. I do. Tanner Plummer says, hey, guys.
Yeah.
I can't believe Carson Wentz got traded to Washington.
Hey, guys.
Well, Washington's going to be Philadelphia twice a year every year that he's there. I'm telling, well, no, we'll talk about that in a minute. Eric Tavera says, I still want the Monty Show shirt. You promised me. Well, DM the dude.
Yeah.
George Mashiki Kaya. Hello, guys. Good morning. Good morning, George. Dwayne Boone says, good morning, guys. Mavericks beat the Jazz, then lose big to Houston.
I'm telling you that Houston, dude, everybody thinks that Houston is just some dumpster fire. And I know the record kind of says that, but this is a team that can beat you and will beat you, dude. They will beat you and take it to you.
Yep. Scott Howard says, as a Bronco fan, stoked about Russell Wilson. Dwayne Boone. That's how we're going to say your name from now on. Dwayne says, Gobert had a mismatch several times last night, yet Mitchell didn't pass it inside to him.
Hey, we've talked about this a lot.
We have. Eric Tavera says they should play Rudy Gay as how they played Niang, as he is better than Niang anyway. I don't know that Rudy Gay is better than George Niang.
Is he capable of being better? Yes. But has he been? No.
No. Frank H. says, what a joke. Win by 40 and young guys still ride the bench. Well, I mean, no starters played more than 24 minutes.
Their mindset, but I get what you're saying there. I mean, the mindset of the coaching staff is not to play the young guys aggressively.
Not at all.
You know,
Not at all.
And I agree. They could have easily pushed the young guys to 20 minutes last night, and they didn't do it. And it's fine, I guess.
Mr. E says, win or lose, Mike Conley became washed. Danny Ainge ever try to trade him? I doubt it. It is, and I know I say this a lot, but I mean, the guy just can't finish in the paint right now. I don't know. It does not look like Mike Conley's got his legs under him. I don't know that to be fact. But he just looks like a guy. He is not a good finisher at the rim anymore, which is odd because he had been.
Yeah.
And, you know, when it goes, I guess. That is easy. Ben Simmons is a decoy point. Pass to Kyrie or Durant. Let them operate the score, then run back and play defense. I disagree with that. Comment dumb. Monir Abroyaya. Sure it is. Hey, guys, do you think Mike is a weak spot in the current Utah team?
Hey, guys.
I think Mike Conley is a 3-and-D guy. His defense is still serviceable, even though he's having trouble getting through picks. But Mike Conley's still an elite three-point shooter, and there's absolutely value in this team for that.
Yeah, I mean, he can get you a quick 12 points. I mean, he can.
And by the way, he also is a really good pick and roll guy. He's also a very good driving kick guy.
That's what I think his highest and best use is pick and roll. And I would, again, and I'm not trying to hate on Rudy, but I would love for this team to have the option of pick and roll, throw it to Rudy, the defense collapses, and he kicks it. Because, again, I think one of the bright spots of this team right now is Bogdanovich. He's been shooting it well. He feels like he's in rhythm, in a groove.
Very much so.
He looks great. And so I would love to see some sets where Conley and Gobert run the pick and roll with Don on the strong side wing and Bogey's in the weak side corner. And Rudy just kicks it to him. That's a wide open look.
Tyler Hopkins says the Lakers wouldn't be bad if they would have dealt Russell Westbrook. Yeah, but they didn't.
And I think that's a tough thing too, because the deal that they would have had to make to get John Wall, you know, in that situation with Houston, that was not a great deal for the Lakers. But it almost feels like they should have taken the deal. Like it
cost some money. I mean, they would have had to add. I think it would have added $6 million to their payroll and 12 to their luxury tax. Like that's not nothing.
I know it's not nothing,
That's a
but
lot
you're the
of
Lakers,
money.
and sometimes you got to dig yourself out of a hole, you know?
Yeah. Eric Tavera says, Lakers' issue is ego on comfortability. These vets don't want to push past what they had been comfortable to do over the years. I don't know. I think Carmelo and LeBron James are working their asses off. I mean, LeBron's running the floor as well as I don't know how he's doing it. He is playing really good basketball. The problem is the other guys that you have playing well, they're not. Austin Reeves is not a superstar, and even like Malik Monk. Malik Monk's a secondary player on most teams. He's a bench guy, but you're asking him to start and play big contributing minutes. And again, the issue is that Anthony Davis is hurt, and you can't count on him.
Yep.
You know, when you're sitting over there on the bench in leather shoes, you're no good to anybody.
After the street clothes.
I mean, yeah, when you're over there in your street clothes, you're no good to anybody. So that's really their biggest issue, you know. It hurts. James Knight says, are you guys on the Mexican spinach this morning? It has been kind of a lighter morning. You know, like
I don't understand that reference at all.
it's marijuana,
Okay.
weed,
Okay.
weed,
What about it?
marijuana. The Mary Jane. Jake did a huge paper his senior year in high school
Yeah.
about the impact of marijuana on the brain.
Sorry if you're offended by that.
Hey guys, don't
Remember,
forget-
in the Bay Area where pot is like everywhere.
Hey man, smoke dope, shrink your rope.
Yep.
Hey guys.
Eric Tavares says the Heat is now the Jazz of the East. Could be. Not sure if you guys know, but you had no audio the first 5 minutes of this show. Is that true? Nobody has said that. Is that
Shoot me.
Come on, man.
Shoot me, dude.
That's not great. We'll look at that. If that's true, I apologize.
Is that actually true?
I hope not. I hope not. And Garcia says maybe a couple of years ago, Gay would have been great for us. Spencer Morgan, what's up with you? He says mismatch don't matter when you're doing in post entry pass to Rudy. The result is almost always bad. I would agree. Devorian Rusvangelista says, did the Jazz play tonight? They didn't. No, they were off. Jazz are done for the year. They don't play any more games.